I am Jennifer Marks. I'm a gluten-free health coach, and I have partnered up with Janine for a few years now, Janine. We've had a lot of fun in the kitchen teaching her classes, her group program classes on how to make gluten-free easy and delicious. And that is just my passion. I've been gluten-free for 15 years, and every time I have a new client or a student, the first thing they say is, oh, this is going to be so hard and the gluten-free food is disgusting. So my passion is showing you that gluten-free can be easy. I'm not being flippant by that, but it can be easier than we make it, and it can be delicious. So you should not be missing out. Just before we hit record, Janine and I were sharing different ideas for, what do you eat for this? What do you eat for that? And that's the whole thing, is you're finding these new swaps to make things delicious for you so that you can get through your day and ditch that deprivation mindset. So we are going to make 3 delicious treats today. And they call them treats, but you know what? They are delicious. They're satisfying, but you're going to find that they're made with whole ingredients, and there's really not a lot of sugar in them. So they're all great to enjoy without all the guilt. And the first one we're going to make is a cookie. It's an oatmeal cookie. It has no eggs. Of course, none of you will eat eggs, right? So that's perfect for us, and especially this day and age where eggs are costing $1,000. No eggs and really no sugar besides the chocolate chips that I'm going to add in. And those are dark, well, yeah, those are dark chocolate chips. So we're going to start with the banana. And unfortunately, my banana is a little more green than I want it to be, but that's okay. Just take 1 banana and we are going to mash that. And this recipe is so ridiculously easy. Now, if you want to mash your banana, you can use a fork. You can use your potato masher. The other day, I couldn't find my potato masher because my son put it in a different drawer, and I took out my pastry mixer and I used that, and I'll tell you, it really mashed my banana so much nicer than the potato masher, although this banana is a little harder. So I'm just going to mash up this banana. If you have a really small banana, you might want to use 1.5 bananas for this recipe. It just really depends on the size of your banana. But you just want to get in here and mash it all the way up, really destroy it. And the banana is what gives this cookie its sweetness. And I'm telling you, I just realized I left my peanut butter. I didn't get my peanut butter out of the fridge. All right. I knew there was one more thing I had to grab, Janine. We were talking so much, forgot to grab my peanut butter.
You're not the first person to say that to me. Oh, Janine, I forgot. We're talking so much.
All right. So look at how nice and quick that was, right? You smash up your banana, all mashed up there, and I'm going to sneak behind here and grab out the peanut butter. And we can use, so you can use peanut butter, you can use almond butter. We love sun butter at our house because we don't typically eat a lot of peanut butter, but every so often I will have some. So today we're going to use peanut butter just because I'm very low on our sun butter. But really any nut butter will work in this recipe. All right, so we are just going to take 2 tablespoons of peanut butter or nut butter, almond butter, cashew butter, sun butter, whatever one floats your boat. We're going to stick about 2 tablespoons of your nut butter right in the bowl with the banana. That is going to just give it a nice creamy texture. So before we hit play here, I preheated the oven to 350, I believe. So that is waiting for us over there. Okay, so we are just going to mix this up. Of course, my peanut butter is cold in the fridge. All right. Stirring that right up, get nice and creamy. So your banana adds the sweetness to this, so you really do not miss the sugar. Like I thought, oh, my kids are going to notice. They did not. They love these cookies. They gobble them up, and no one says, oh, hey, there's no sugar in there. All right, so we just have a nice little mixture with just the banana and peanut butter. And you can add just a tiny splash of vanilla, give it a little flavor, and a tiny dash of sea salt. And then we're just going to add 1 cup of oats. What I like to use are a mixture of quick oats and rolled oats. And now, of course, being gluten-free, you need to make sure that your oats are certified gluten-free, because oats are very controversial in the gluten-free world because they are naturally gluten-free. But what happens that in the processing and in the growing, oats are often cross-contaminated with wheat. So a lot of people will react to oats once they go gluten-free and say, what's going on? I've eaten oats forever, you know? And that is why. It's really the processing and the growing. Farmers will often grow a field of wheat, and the next year a field of oats on the same field. So that's cross-contamination. Or they're processing them in the same facility and whatnot. At our house, we love Bob's Red Mill certified oats. And lately I've been using Thrive Market. I don't know if you've heard of that before. It's a fabulous online store. You do pay to it's kind of like a Costco online. So you pay to be a member, but you can get some really great deals. And I've been using these oats. They're quick oats and they're rolled oats, and they are certified gluten-free by the Celiac Association. We've done really well with these oats. Really great. Good oats. So you can
Jen, can
find
you tell us the difference between a quick oat and a rolled oat?
So yeah, so the quick oat is that instant, you know, you add water and it instantly turns to your oatmeal in your bowl, you know, that very quick one. And then the rolled oats are a little heartier. So they take a little bit longer to break down. So that's why I like to use a mixture of it. The quick oats is going to kind of turn to sugar quickly in your body, where the rolled oats are going to give you more fiber and keep you satisfied and full a little bit longer.
Oh,
Okay.
thanks.
So that's why I use half and half. You could use all of the quick oats or all of the rolled oats, either way. So okay. The next thing we're going to do is, and you don't even have to do this, but I love chocolate. So I've got some little chocolate chips. I'm just going to drizzle a few of those in there and mix that up. And so we use Enjoy Life chocolate at our house. It's gluten-free. It's also free of many other ingredients. Recently I found, I don't know if any of you have heard of this brand. I think you say Guitard. Have you
That's a
tried
new
this?
one. I haven't seen that one.
Not seen this. I found it about a month ago at Whole Foods, and they're really tasty. They're dark chocolate chips. There were many different options to buy, so I had to really read every label to figure out which one I wanted. But this is made, it has a little bit of coconut sugar in it, but otherwise it has no sugar added, and it's dark chocolate. So it's definitely a healthier option. And then of course we usually use our Enjoy Life chips. So, all right, we have just our regular mixture here. Like, how easy was that, right? Oats, a banana, a little vanilla, little sea salt, and chocolate chips. That's it.
There's no
Nothing
reason not
else.
to make your own cookies. Look how quick that was. And plus, most of
Okay.
these ingredients, I think all of these ingredients you already have in the
Yes.
house.
Yeah. So here's another little trick that I do. I have this parchment paper. I put that on my cookie sheet here, and it doesn't like to stay down. So I just take a knife and I put a knife on each side, and it holds it down until you get your cookie dough on there. Then you're not fighting with your cookie dough.
Look at
So
that.
all the little hacks you learn as you cook more in your kitchen, right? And I'm gonna take my little scooper because God forbid one child gets a bigger cookie than the next, right?
Well, your house too, huh? Yeah.
And I probably would pick the biggest one myself. So we're just gonna scoop this right on our tray. And it's gonna give us about a dozen cookies. And we're gonna scoop it on with this, and then I'm gonna wet my fingers and kind of smush them down a little bit because they cook nicer when we just push them down better. I don't know why that works that way, but it does.
It's
You know,
amazing that
sometimes
that's
you
just oats, banana, and nut butter. And look at that consistency.
yeah, I mean, isn't it amazing? I was shocked. Like I kept seeing people making this on Instagram. I'm like, seriously, 3 ingredients? I added the vanilla and the sea salt, but 3 ingredients, and they they cook so beautifully. And I'm telling you, they taste like they have everything in there. All right, I'm gonna just wet my fingers a little bit because the dough is a little sticky. And I'm just gonna push them down a little bit so that we have a little flattened bit of a cookie here. So if you keep them up in a, I don't know why, but if you keep them up in the ball, they didn't seem to flatten down a little enough, to cook through nicely. Also online, people were saying they cook these for 20 minutes. I do not find that to be true. I've baked mine for 6 minutes and maybe 5 more, and then they're done. So okay,
Oh,
now we can
wow.
take the knives off and see, look at that. Fun trick, right? So we have our cookies, delicious, right? I'm gonna pop these in the oven and put a timer on for, Janine, do you have a timer near you?
I do. I have my phone. What do you want? 6
Can
minutes?
you do 6 minutes, please?
Yep. And I will let you know when that goes off.
Okay. That is in the oven, and in about 12 minutes, we're gonna have a delicious cookie. And you know what? You can eat them for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Snack. They're all healthy, friends, right? All whole ingredients, all healthy. Now, of course, depending on the nut butter you choose, that can kind of derail your health very quickly. So you want to make sure you're reading your labels. Like sun butter, all that's in here are sunflower seeds. And my peanut butter is just peanuts and sea salt, and that's it. So watch your labels, and you can make things even healthier as you go. So, all right, who will try those cookies?
Oh, I'm definitely going to. And I love to see that there's sun butter in your house because normally when I say sun butter, people look at me like I got 3 heads. But my daughter, ever since she was little, didn't like peanut butter, which was so
Mm-hmm.
weird to me. So I bought this thing called sun butter. She's loved it, and it's been the only thing in the house. So fast forward, she's 19 years old, and I have the 3-year-old. And because there's no peanut butter in the house, we just do sun butter. He
Mm-hmm.
doesn't ever get any peanut products, really nothing. And then the one time I had a refrigerated peanut butter bar that I bought from like probably the Quick Check, we discovered he has a peanut allergy. And everyone's like,
Oh,
how
wow.
did you just discover this when he's 3 years old? And I have to tell them the whole sun butter story.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah,
it's
crazy.
delicious. I love it so much better than peanut butter, which I never thought I would say.
Right, right. Yeah, peanuts, like I can eat nuts every so often, but I can't eat nuts all the time. So that's why I started having sun butter instead. And to me, it's a great substitution
Oh, it's
for peanut
delicious.
butter. It's delicious. I make a lot of different cookies with that. All right, so our next one is going to be your next favorite treat for Easter. So with Easter coming up, anybody who celebrates Easter, it's just a really great spring treat. This is a carrot cake date ball, and I'm going to tell you this, tastes like you're taking a bite out of a carrot cake, and it is made with dates. So we're going to start with just a little more than a cup of dates, and what I've done is I've just using organic dates. I got these right at Costco, and I boiled water and put water over them and let it sit. You want to let it sit 5 to 10 minutes. This has been sitting about a half an hour because we were getting ready for class. And I'm going to dump out the water, okay? So I let that sit to soften them up, and we're dumping that out. And so now I'm going to use my Cuisinart here. I'm just going to dump that right into the Cuisinart. That was a cup of dates. We have some coconut flour, and that is right here. That's Bob's Red Mill. Coconut flour is great. If you bake gluten-free, you have to be very careful with coconut flour. It's a great substitute, but you can't really substitute a cup of wheat flour for a cup of coconut flour for a cup of wheat flour, because coconut flour sucks all the moisture out of your recipe, and it can kill your whole recipe. So we played around
No
a lot with coconut
wonder.
flour.
I'm so glad
But
you said that. Because I don't read, I don't measure. I'm like, oh, I just use the coconut flour, and it was awful because I did what I would normally do with like the gluten free. Even the gluten free flours, you can't just substitute coconut. Okay, thank you.
no, no, not at all. It does not work. And yeah, the first few times we made cookies with coconut flour, I was like, oh, why do people say this is great? They were awful.
Right.
You have to add a lot more moisture to the recipe. So, all right, we're gonna have some shredded carrots here. I use about 2 carrots, and I just use my handy dandy, my shredder right here. You could use a Cuisinart or however you want to shred your carrots. You're gonna just dump that right in. That's about a cup of carrots. Here we have some flaxseed. And this is typically I get Bob's Red Mill and I couldn't find it. So we just bought the store-bought organic milled flaxseed. Now you want to be careful. Do not buy flaxseed. Flaxseed goes in one side and out the other, and you get no benefits. When you're eating ground flaxseed, that's when you get the extra benefits and the nutritional value that flax offers. So we're going to add about a 1/4 cup of flaxseed to the blender. Then we're going to add a teaspoon of cinnamon, give it that nice, delicious flavor. And we're going to kick it up a little bit with some nutmeg. So we're going to do about a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. And it takes you to the fall, but this gives you those beautiful flavors for carrot cake. Oops. All right. And then we're going to do some shredded coconut. Shredded coconut is one of the things that blew my mind when I went gluten-free and really started paying attention to labels. Because I grew up making coconut macaroons my whole life. I baked forever. And when I went gluten-free, I'm like, oh my gosh, how am I going to bake gluten-free? And when I went to make my coconut macaroons and bought the coconut, I could not believe how many ingredients are added to shredded coconut. Go look at your bags. It's amazing. And there are lots of words you can't pronounce. So I found this at Trader Joe's. It's organic coconut, shredded coconut, and there's one ingredient, coconut, organic coconut. That's it. That's how we want to buy our products to keep our bodies healthier, right? So we want to add about a 1/4 cup of shredded coconut. So I'm just going to throw that in with my hand. It's pretty colorful over here. All right.
Right.
We have some
and
shredded.
Hold on, ready? Ready? Here we go. Timer went up.
Timer. Okay, let me turn. So we're going to turn. The cookies are in the oven for 6 minutes. I'm just going to turn the sheet pan around, the cookie sheet around, and put it back in for 5 more minutes.
Okay, 5 minutes. I got you. 5 minutes.
5 minutes, please.
5.
Okay.
Start.
Are we set with 5?
We are set.
Okay, so in the blender, we have a cup of dates. We have our coconut flour, shredded carrots, ground flaxseed, cinnamon, nutmeg, and shredded coconut. We could put a pinch of sea salt, and that's it. We're going to blend this up. Now, I will tell you this, sometimes dates are nice and juicy, and you blend it the first time and it's all perfect, and sometimes we need a little bit of extra water. So I'm just going to grab some water here in case we need that. Now, if you eat a lot of nuts, you can also add pecans or walnuts to this to give it an even nuttier flavor, but we're going to leave that out for right now. Okay, so I'm going to blend this up. We want to blend it until it's coming together. It looks a little bit dry, so I'm going to add just a little bit of water. You don't want to add too much water because you don't want it to be gushy either, right? So you want to get that medium balance. And add just a little more water. And one more time, let me scrape those sides down. Start to come together. It smells like I'm baking a carrot cake. Wow. All right. Okay, so it's starting to come together here. This is a great activity to do with your family, to have them come and roll these out. Kids like to do that.
That's funny. That's the only thing I don't like about making date balls is the rolling out. You're right. You really got to employ the kids.
Well, okay. So Janine, if you don't like to roll them out, take a cookie sheet or a sheet pan and flatten it down. and put it in the fridge and let it set, and then just cut them up.
What,
And you don't have
Jennifer?
to.
See how like they're so simple. Like I'm like I love date balls. I'm not taking the time to roll out all of
Yeah,
those balls.
cut
Look
them
at
up.
that.
Make
I
bars.
don't need the ball shape. That's perfect.
Yep, absolutely.
See, there's always an easy hack. There's always an easy hack.
These dates must have been extra dry today, or the coconut's really, really sucking it all
Coconut's
anyway.
sucking everything out of it. I love how Zoom like lowers the volume so that we don't hear the blender. Like we don't hear that. It goes silent.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a good feature on Zoom so that we don't get blasted.
I always stop talking when I turn it on because I always think it's going to be so loud, right?
No, you have to stop talking when you turn it on because it mutes the whole thing. Like we can't hear you either when that thing's going.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Good to know. Okay. So now we have this nice mixture here. And all we're going to do is spoon it out. Oh yeah, that's nice and moist. And roll them into little balls. Put those on our plate here.
And then coat with chocolate when she's not looking.
You can. So you can roll these in. I have a little bit of shredded coconut here. You could roll them in coconut.
Okay, that's
right?
pretty.
You could chop up some nuts and roll them in nuts.
Or even those mini chocolate chips after the coconut.
Yep, you can put them in mini chocolate chips. You can add that to this too, but I'm telling you, these are really fabulous. You want to squeeze them together a little bit. These are really fabulous because it's like you're taking a bite out of carrot cake.
That's true, and it's probably sweet enough where you don't feel you're missing the chocolate.
No, and we did not add any sugar to this either, right? So the carrots are sweet. The
Carrots.
coconut flour is a little sweet.
The dates, that's it.
The dates are sweet. Okay, so the dates are sugar, but guess what? They're whole, they're natural. It's a natural sugar. They're full of fiber and phosphorus and calcium and magnesium and manganese. So they're all things your body needs. So you're not having a lot of added sugar there. So look how pretty those are.
That's so pretty.
I'm gonna
Do you
taste
know
one.
those are $7? Janet, over at DV Tree, our local coffee shop, they are $7 a ball. They're
Yeah,
delicious.
I need to start selling these.
Serious, seven. Oh, look, timer. Cookies are done.
Timer. Oh my goodness. These are so good. But let me tell you, you roll them all out, put them in the fridge, and the flavors really, really come together. But oh my gosh, right now, I wish I could pass them all to you.
Janine, are they that small for $7?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
You haven't
yeah.
been in DV Tree in a while. Absolutely.
Out.
They're $7. I got a coffee and I got a coffee and one date ball. I got very little change back from my 20. I'm like, what? Yeah, it was crazy. That will make you make your own date balls right there. Jen, you should really be selling them. I mean, people are getting,
Okay.
you should sell them to the local coffee shop.
Look at how beautiful.
I can use a chocolate chip cookie right now.
They smell amazing.
I'm going to have to make the date balls.
Okay. We're going to let that cool for a minute before I dive into those. The trade-off here is that I can't pass you the food. When I do these classes in person, it's so fun because everybody gets to taste them and say, wow, this is so good. I'm going to go home and make this. So I'm sorry I can't pass you the food. Janine, we always talk about making smell-o-vision, right?
You should see us on our group calls. We're on our group calls weekly. We've gotten so comfortable with each other. Like Janet or Mary will say something and I'll be like, wait, and I'll lean in so that I could see what's on their table. That I'm like, wait, I can't see it. You forget we've got the screens in front of us.
Yes. All right. So you really just want to roll all of your dough out, which I won't take your time now to do that. And then you have these beautiful little balls. And again, you can roll them in coconut, you can roll them in chopped nuts, you can roll them in the little mini chocolate chips here, or you could just drizzle chocolate chip on chocolate on there. Even a white chocolate, if you can eat that, would be great to drizzle on there. So really fabulous, and put them in the fridge, let them sit for a little bit, and the flavors come together even more so. But this is just, I feel like I just took a carrot cake out of the oven. And how much healthier is this, right?
That's awesome. All right, I'll be making those.
So good. All right. Now this last dessert is clearly one of my favorites. Taking a sip here. Let me get some of this out of the way. So this last one is a chocolate pudding. And I'll tell you, when I first went gluten-free and thought, how am I going to make chocolate pudding? Can't use cornstarch because I'm also corn-free. Can't use these other thickeners. You know, and I don't want all the extra sugar. Like every recipe I found had cups and cups of sugar and all these extra things. I didn't want any of that. Because as we all went gluten-free, so all three of my children have celiac disease, so 4 out of 5 of us in our household are gluten-free. I cannot have a stitch of gluten. You will not see me for days. But I'll tell you, as you start feeling better and you're eating gluten-free and you're getting your health back and you know you're not reacting as much or at all anymore, then you realize other things like sugar or soy or other things that are also inflammatory may be bothering you. And you go down a little bit deeper to be healthier. So that's where we are now. Like we did not start here. We built up to this, right? Janine and I were talking about our favorite M&Ms. And I said, oh, I used to eat the whole entire bag of M&Ms.
Back in the day, we did that.
Yeah. I mean, I was a major chocoholic. But, you know, today I'm satisfied with one of these date balls. You know, I make a chocolate brownie date ball. That's to die for. And I eat one and it's great. It's satisfying and delicious. And you feel like you've just had a treat without all the extra sugar and all the extra ingredients that are going to really just derail your health. So all good.
I just want to add, yeah, for most days of the month, I'm with you on that. But there are a few days a month where I just can't get enough chocolate in my face. So,
I
wait,
hear you.
before you get started, we have a question.
Yeah.
How many dates did you use before? How many dates did you use? And did you already take the pits out or do you buy them already pitted?
Great question. So these
Thank you, Sarah.
are,
That was from Sarah.
thank you. Okay. So these are pitted dates, but I will tell you that when I put the dates, so if I'm just grabbing my, I used about a cup of dates. I don't know honestly how many that is. But I just take my glass container here and measuring cup and fill it in. When you take your dates out of here, even though they say they're pitted, when I do this, I take the date, you know, so you have each one date, and I squeeze it or I pull it open to make sure there is not a pit in there. Because even though they say they're pitted, every so often you're making date balls and there's a pit in there, and it either breaks your Cuisinart or your tooth, and you don't want either of those, right? So about a cup, I use a little more than a cup of dates. I should count to see how many that is. I don't know, but I can count them and let you know.
Yeah, a cup is fine. We all know what
Come back. But a cup is great. Good question. All right, so for our pudding, we are using cacao. So this is a step up from your cocoa. So this is all natural, your chocolate, and I'm either using, I have an organic cacao powder, Navitas, and I find that at Whole Foods or even Home Goods sells this every so often for a bit cheaper than Whole Foods, and or Trader Joe's cacao powder. So either one of those works for this recipe. This is a staple in my diet. This is where I get my chocolate, Janine, when I make my smoothie at lunch. And it's a chocolate smoothie. I feel like I'm having like this rich, decadent chocolate shake, and it's all vegetables and cacao. So, you know, you learn these little tricks.
She's so right. Home Goods and in the back of Marshalls, they sell all of those really expensive brands for like half the cost.
Yep. So, okay. So the star of our pudding. Ta-da!
That's so weird.
Avocados. If you don't like avocados, if you can't eat avocados, you can use banana. Although it does lend a very banana-y flavor. So I don't love that. Like I like it in the cookies. Oh, speaking of the cookies, let's break before we make our pudding. I'm gonna take these off of our cookie sheet here.
We should
Put
put
them
the
on my
pudding
rack.
on top of the cookie and
Oh
then
yeah.
eat that while you're eating the date ball. Can you tell it's that time of the month where I just want
Oh
to
yeah.
shove my face with chocolate?
So
Yes.
there are cookies. How yummy do those look? Put some on the plate here. They're still pretty warm. They smell really great. All right, I'm gonna let them cool before I dive in. Okay, so your avocados, wash your avocados. I've already washed my avocado. I'm praying that these are gonna, what's the worst thing? You get an avocado and you open it up and it's brown, right? Oh, yay.
Wow, look at that. You hit the
Perfect.
avocado lottery there. That never happens.
See if we can do it twice.
Now, do you have backup avocados? Because you're doing a live cooking show. Look at you.
I bought these yesterday. I was wondering if they could be ready.
I was taking a risk.
Perfect. I was just seeing, someone online was showing you how to take an avocado pit and grow it, grow an avocado tree. They said, never buy an avocado again. I'm like, oh, I'm going to try this. Because we eat a lot of avocados at our house.
Do you know how much time that would take to grow an avocado tree to get it? No,
Yeah, I don't know how long it actually takes to really have an avocado grow, but I would assume like an apple tree. What is it, like a few years before you actually get apples off the tree?
Well, you do
Right?
that first, Jen, and you let us know how long it takes. You trailblaze that.
Well, I started my garden last year and that was so fun. I had more fresh vegetables last year than ever, and it was amazing.
Oh,
So
that's
I'm
cool.
gung ho to really grow some more things this year. All right, this pit
Do
doesn't
you
want
do
to come out.
your vegetables and produce in containers or right in the ground?
Well, I got real fancy.
She got fancy.
I got real fancy, and Nicole Burke, she has a program called Gardenary, and she teaches you how to actually set up a whole garden in like a wooden box. Like you build the box, how you fill it with the right soil and everything. And I will tell you that last summer, lost my towel. Last summer was the first summer in a long time that we ate tomatoes that were like so incredible. What we
Wow.
grew, the zucchini was flying off the plants. So crazy.
Did you build
And
the boxes yourself?
I built the boxes myself. Yep. And then filled it with the right soil, planted tomatoes and zucchini and basil and some other vegetables. And this year, right over in my dining room right now, I have tons of seeds that I've planted. So we're gonna see what other vegetables will grow this year, and I'm gonna add some more boxes. So then we'll make some more things. We'll see if we can grow an avocado tree.
I love that.
Yes, that was my goal when we bought our house here. We moved back to New England. When we bought our house here, I said, we're gonna have a big garden. So we used to live in Pennsylvania and we had so many animals come through our yard. We couldn't grow anything because they ate everything we grew. It
Oh,
was
yeah,
very
that's
annoying.
true.
So yeah, so super fun to grab a tomato off of the vine and eat it. And it's like that. It's just amazing that the flavor that you get, even over the farmers markets and even especially over the grocery stores. It's not plastic, right?
I'm sure it's amazing. I'll take your word for it, but I hate tomatoes. I like tomato
Oh,
products, but not a whole
huh?
tomato.
Well, you can make tons of salsa and sauce and everything
That's
from
what I
it.
would do with it, yeah.
Totally amazing. All right, so I scooped out the flesh of 2 avocados, and I'm going to blend that up. That's our first trick here. So when you're making this, let me tell you a trick here. If you're making this for your family, I made this pudding for my family for a long time before someone scooped in and said, "Why is there something green in my pudding?" Because the avocado didn't get mashed enough. So you want to make sure that the avocado is all smooth and creamy, so that nobody looks at it and says, "Oh, oh, why? What are you putting in my pudding?" Right? So it's a great way to get some good stuff in your kids. All right, let's blend this down. That's pretty good. So we're going to keep on blending. So you can take this right out of here and scoop it into a bowl, or just blend everything right in here. And that's what we're going to do today. So I'm going to add a little bit of vanilla, so a little splash of vanilla, a little bit of sea salt, brings out the flavors, a little bit of maple syrup. Again, this is pure maple syrup. Watch your labels. Aunt Jemima has so many things added to her syrup. It's insane. Like, how did we grow up on all this stuff and not know this, right? No wonder why we all got sick.
That's why we all got sick and we're tired all the time.
Mm-hmm. So we're gonna take about a quarter cup of our cacao and add that in. Okay. And that's really it. Maple syrup, vanilla. Oh, dark chocolate. Where did I put my dark chocolate?
Don't forget the chocolate. Otherwise, you just got avocado pudding. That's gross.
Here it is. It's so you don't even have to add this chocolate. I take a little less than a quarter cup of dark chocolate chips and I add it to the pudding. I feel like it makes it a little chocolatier, a little creamier, but there have been times where I didn't put them in as well. So that's up to you. But if you're using a dark chocolate, you're really not adding a lot of sugar. Even if you're adding semi-sweet, it's really not a terrible thing to add because it's really not a lot of sugar that you're adding in. Although we did add maple syrup, but again, maple syrup is a natural sugar, so it has vitamins and nutrients in it that your body can use. So it's all good. All right, and then we have about 2/3 cups of milk. I am using this So Delicious. Oops, I don't have the top on there. So Delicious coconut milk. This is a brand that I love. They just revamped everything, which I'm not loving the new look, but you have to be careful. They have about 5 or so different coconut milks, and each color is a little different. This one is unsweetened. You want to buy the unsweetened. If you buy just the regular coconut milk, it has their ingredient list is so much longer and has so many more additives to it that are not needed. So that's just my take. You can also use coconut milk from a can. You can use almond milk, soy milk, rice milk, whatever milk you like the best. And we're just going to add that right in. And we're just going to blend this right up. It gets nice and creamy.
I'm going to make this for Jackson. This is a good idea. I'm also going to try the protein balls for him.
All right. What's that?
I was saying I'm gonna try this for Jackson because there was up until a point probably 6 months ago where anything I put in front of him he would eat, which was great. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden he only wanted those things. Yes. And we just went from daycare to preschool, whereas the daycare, they would warm everything up for him. And preschool, it's like regular school. They don't warm anything up. So now I'm like, a kid's never had a sandwich before. What am I going to send him to school with? And so it's been tricky. But I think those date balls would be a really good way. I think he would eat those.
Oh, absolutely. And even the
right,
oatmeal
like,
cookies, wrong with you could send those. You could put raisins in there instead of chocolate chips. I'm going to blend this again.
And guys, don't think that I'm the only one who can ask questions here. Like I said in the beginning, we're not fancy. Anyone has a question or a comment, just unmute yourselves and ask Absolutely. It.
So this is so rich and creamy. And let me give you a really great hack. When it's birthday party time, I make this pudding. Let me show you how thick it is, first of all. So I'll make this pudding. So it's pudding. If you put it in the fridge, it's going to set a little bit, but it's a little creamy. I use less milk and use this exact recipe as a frosting, and it is so good. You have this nice little healthy frosting that no one would know, right? It doesn't have 3 cups of sugar in it. It's really delicious.
Plus, does anyone really like frosting? It's cloyingly sweet. That's so perfect.
So, all right, let's give it a taste. It is so chocolatey and so creamy. Like you would have no idea that there's avocados in here. I don't usually, I just say to people, are you allergic to anything before they taste it? And they're like, this is so good. It's like this really thick chocolatey mousse. Um, can you see that? It's just
Yeah, how thick it is.
so good. And you could throw chocolate chips on here. You can doll it up however you want. You can add chocolate chips or nuts, dried
Shredded
fruit.
coconuts.
Yep, absolutely. So 3 desserts. We have our carrot cake date balls, really delicious. Our oatmeal cookies that we didn't taste yet. Let's see. Wow. With
Yeah, that's amazing. I want one. I do. I want one.
I mean,
I'm gonna have to make them.
crazy that
That's
it's
great because you have all these ingredients
ingredients.
already in the kitchen. And you know what I noticed? The oats. You didn't have to put the oats in a coffee grinder and grind them up into flour. You just right out of the bag.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that couldn't be any easier.
No. Oats, banana, peanut butter. That's it.
This is why when people say, "Oh, you poor thing, you're gluten free," you're like, "You have no idea how well
Mm-mm.
I eat."
Yeah. No, yeah. And that's what people say to us. What do you eat? Because we are also dairy free and corn free on top of that. And I'll tell you, corn is like 10 times harder than dairy than gluten.
Mm-hmm.
But we still eat amazing food at our house. And like I said, that is my passion to show you if you have to be gluten free, that you have so many delicious options out there that you don't have to live in deprivation. You know, especially with my kids, I didn't want them to go to a birthday party and be left out, or, you know, play with their friends and be left out because they all have these amazing treats, or even go on vacation. If we go on vacation and you walk in any bakery, even a gluten-free bakery, and we usually can't order anything because they always have baking soda or baking powder that has corn in it, or a flour, another flour, or nut, or something, or dairy that we cannot have. So we make these treats and bring them with us, and we're not left out, and we don't feel left out. And I think that's the point. That's the part that you need in your gluten-free life, is finding those recipes that fill you up, that are delicious and satisfying, that show you that, you know what, gluten-free is okay. I'm not giving up everything, right? Because that's what we think, right? We think it's so hard and we have to give up everything. But I mean, I'm going to sit here and enjoy this chocolate pudding.
You do that. And thank you for showing us that you don't really have to know how to cook or how to bake. Just get a couple ingredients together, throw them in a mixer, blend them together, and you have these awesome things that don't take a lot of time. And if Jen can do it, my God, her whole family, except your husband, right, has these allergies.
Yes.
So
Yep.
I don't know
Yep.
if that makes it harder or easier, but thank you for showing
Well,
us.
either, I mean, it can work if you're the only person in your family, it works. If everybody in your family, it works. You find that balance, right? Everything I cook and bake is gluten-free, dairy-free, corn-free. Then if he wants something else, he can make it, right? But
Exactly. You know,
he eats all the food we eat.
Kevin, my husband, when he met us, we were all, well, I was, so the kids were, we were all gluten free. And he didn't know that at first. So I invited him over to meet the kids and I made dinner. And he didn't know for weeks that it was a completely gluten free house. He's like, wait, no, but we've had. I'm like, yeah, it's all gluten free. He's like, that's amazing. Because there's this stigma in there that you have to live deprived or your food doesn't taste good. And
Yes.
Jen's here. She's built her whole business around showing people that no, living deprived, that's not a thing. Like, eat well, eat good, enjoy your food.
Enjoy.
Enjoy your food.
Enjoy your food. I mean, if you're thinking ahead, like to Easter and Easter baskets, like that, when we first started, that's where I would stress out. I'm like, oh my gosh, my kids are going to miss out. But you know what? We make these date balls or our chocolate brownie date balls, cover them in chocolate and put them in an Easter basket. And they have this amazing treat that they love and enjoy. They're not feeling left out because they didn't get this huge bunny. And you can shape it, just like I told Janine. You don't want to roll them in a ball, shape it in the shape of a bunny or an egg, and use that instead.
That's
You
a good
know?
idea. And then add coconut oil to the chocolate so it hardens.
Exactly.
Oh,
Exactly.
might do that for
So
Jackson.
thinking outside of the box, you can really, really create a delicious gluten-free lifestyle.
Oh, Jen, thank you so much for this. All right, we'll be doing more. Listen, I have a recipe booklet, so I'll be posting that in the group, and also this recording. If you want me to email it to you, just email me at gethealthy at mindingyoursoul.com, and I'll send you over the PDF. And thanks for joining. And the ladies of the group, I'll see you at 3 o'clock. All right. Goodbye,
All right, bye, everybody. Thanks.
Bye.
Have a
Thank
delicious
you.
gluten-free day. Thank you.